back to earth for a minute now, and social enterprise organisation Primestars will be launching a national matric maths and science revision programme that happens at the end of this month, that's next week, called eduCate. It's aimed at equipping the youth with critical STEM skills that will enable them to succeed in the future. Well, to tell us more about the programme, I'm joined this morning by Primestars General Manager Nkosinati Mushwana. Nkosinati, good morning.
Morning.
And thanks for your time. I'm sure prep is crazy ahead of this launch that happens next week. So tell us about eduCate. There are so many initiatives out there aiming to do this when it comes to maths and science and technology and engineering and all of that. What makes your program different?
So the medium of using visuals and multimedia to teach. So it's a national program running in all 9 provinces. We have an annual capacity of about 20,000 seats, focus on schools in what we call under-resourced communities, and it all happens in the cinema. So starting from the Sunday, we'll have about 15 cinemas, about 2,000 seats every Sunday filled nationwide. And we teach the STEM subjects, but with a different approach. We really are trying to get young people to understand that, math is cool, science is cool. There's a way of applying it to life, and moving into the 4th Industrial Revolution, it's becoming a critical topic and subjects to focus on. And more so, we really are excited because this is the 9th annual year. Next year, we're celebrating a decade. So it's quite exciting to have created such a, what we call a social compact with government, schools, the private sector, to be able to do this for those that are less fortunate.
What's the interest been like? I mean, you've been going on for 9 years. Obviously, there's, it's kept it going, but are pupils getting into it from what you see? Are our schoolgoers, our youth, are they kind of understanding what this means for them in their futures now?
Right. So we continuously have to report back on the impact of the program, the interest of the program. And the stats that tell us about interest is really the fact that we are oversubscribed every single year. In fact, we have 20,000, 30,000 seats is too little. We actually want to increase to 100,000 seats. Every year we do come up oversubscribed. There are cinemas, where learners are really trying to come in, but because you have to
you have to build a drive-in in Nkosinati.
No, we
do
have
a drive-in. Yeah, a big field. Yeah.
That's exciting, but also just to see really the feedback from teachers, from schools, from the learners.
And results. Are they seeing the benefits of this at the end of the year?
Big time. So for the last 5 years, we've doubled the national average in increases. We've got double-digit increases, 10% all the way up to 18% in our really well-performing schools. Our national average across the 400 schools that we work with per annum, the very minimum is 8%. So seeing these kind of numbers going up in a 10-week intervention is something that I think has really gotten our partners to see that it's something that it's important. The schools are quite vested in it, and the teachers themselves come every single week. So it's a real integral part of the program.
Well, as we know, a lot of our teachers need to learn a lot also from what we've heard over the past couple of years. They themselves are hardly, not most of them, not well equipped enough to teach these subjects in those schools as well. So when you say making these subjects cool, now way back when I was in school, what's his name? William Smith?
William Smith.
He was the cool guy. He was the one you watched on TV. So how does this work in the cinema? Who are they listening to?
It's a cool story about William Smith. He actually is the first person we approached to create the content for us.
And he's still very cool. Hey?
He's still incredible. So he put us in touch with an incredible lecturer who partnered with us to create visual content. So on screen is a lecturer with some multimedia, they're writing similar to how William Smith used to do. We collect past papers for the beneficiaries. They run through the content while it's going on screen. So the cinema is not docklit.
So they're sitting there and working sitting and working these things out.
Cinema is lit, and they're working. And so what we do is we provide the material on screen. Every single week is a different session on their math curriculum and a different session on their science curriculum. Is there a test,
which would be my worst nightmare? Is there a test afterwards?
So how we do is from a baseline perspective, we collect all the past papers for matric and grade 11. We strategically are supposed to be a revision program. So we assist them through their prelims, which are about to start very soon, and then we pick up on finals. So next year, we will come back and we will report on the numbers as we do with our other partners.
So which grades do you accommodate?
This is specifically matric.
Just matric.
Specifically matric. It's an intervention. It's an intervention that has been created specifically for matriculants. And if I can squeeze this in, so we specifically develop these programs for CSI, skills development initiatives. This year, very, very, very proud to announce Sanlam, Sasria, and Bidvest as our key partners. And for them, it's a skills pipeline investment. So as to say, how do we invest in young people at high school, which is our big belief, to ensure that by the time they come out, they're closer to the kind of talent that industry is looking for versus having this huge skills gap we face today.
What about and the discussion often goes to female pupils? Are we trying to get more young girls into these things? Commonly, we know boys automatically gravitate there, but are you seeing more girls getting involved and coming out tops after these programs? Interestingly
enough, being a majority black women-owned organization sort of brings that attraction to the program because young girls are seeing more and more professionals, female professionals like yourself, taking positions of power. It really inspires them to do more. We're seeing numbers across our programs at this stage. We have an average of about 52% female representation, black young females. And they're taking it on. They're really taking their responsibility, taking the opportunities in their stride. And I look forward to seeing the results this year.
So how do pupils get to be there? Do they have to come with their schools? Can they do individual can they attend individually? How do they find out more about eduCate?
We are extremely focused on running a strong operational process because we're working with minors. So all these schools are pre-registered. They have to be pre-registered, and there has to be teachers, subject-aligned teachers that come with the schools. Okay. So that's to manage the logistical side. But for schools that may not have been invited as yet nationwide, the easiest way to do it is to email our projects team. So if they email projects with the S at the end at primestars.co.za, they will be able to be assisted. But we send out invites nationally. Should a school not be included, it may be a late response, but every year we really look to increase.
So they have to be invited by you? You obviously do your research and figure out who needs to be there.
Government gives us a list of schools that are in need of the support, whether it be lower performing schools or those that are just below average and need to be helped over distinction level. And then we also bring in other schools, depending on the stakeholders, and like you say, those that come to us and say we want to be in the program.
Fantastic. Is there popcorn and soda?
Of course.
I'm kidding. No, I'm joking.
Of course.
That would make it all easier. Okay, thanks very much. Well, good luck.
Thank
you. Heading up to 10 years on the program. This is the 9th one. That's the 9th annual eduCate Maths and Science launch. It happens next week. Thank you very much to Primestars General Manager Nkosinathi Moshwana. Well, let's check.